Interesting fact. First of all, Bahasa is spoken by more than 200 million people. Imagine that. If you just simply know how to say hi or hello in Bahasa, you would be able to say hi to more than 200 million people. And I think you have heard about Bali. Bali is one part of Indonesia, and Indonesia also have 17,508 islands. So it means that if you go to Indonesia and travel Indonesia and go to Bali, you would be able to enjoy your vacation much more because now you can speak the local language, right? So those are some interesting facts about Bahasa, and now let's get started. In this lesson, you will first of all learn about formal and informal Bahasa. We will tell you what is formal Bahasa and what is informal Bahasa. And after that, we will learn some very basic grammar, and then we will learn some vocabulary, and also we will learn some sample sentences and create your very first sentences in Bahasa so you can practice your Bahasa right away. Okay, so as I mentioned previously, let's start by explaining and telling you what is the difference between formal and informal Bahasa. So basically there are two types of Bahasa, formal and informal Bahasa. Formal Bahasa are Bahasa that is used for formal occasions. For example, business meeting, lecture, if you go to university in Indonesia or something like that, or if you meet a person for the very first time, you will usually need formal Bahasa, and you would usually use formal Bahasa. And then number two, we have informal Bahasa. This is a form of Bahasa that is usually used for like close friends or your family members or people or persons that you already know for a long time. And in these lessons and some future lessons, you will be introduced with formal Bahasa first, because you cannot go wrong usually with formal Bahasa, and usually you will use your Bahasa with people that you just know, right, to introduce yourself and stuff like that. And therefore it is much better if you know formal Bahasa first. But of course, in the future, you will learn informal Bahasa and talk more casually. So now let's just start this lesson by learning some grammar. As you know, grammar is the most important thing, very basic. It is important for you to understand very basic grammar of any language that you are learning. And today we will be learning subject pronouns. Okay, the subject pronoun of Bahasa, it is quite simple. Like number one is, how do you say I? I is saya. Okay, I is saya. So it is not very complicated. So saya, I. And then how do you say you? You is kamu. So ka and mu. So you have kamu. And then how do you say they? They is mereka. Okay, try to always say it after me. Okay, repeat after me so that you also learn how to say the word correctly. So again, how do you say they? They is mereka. Mereka. Now next, how do you say kami? Sorry, how do you say we? How do you say we? We is kami. Kami. Okay, how do you say she or he? Now this is something interesting, because in Bahasa, there is no she and there is no he. You just simply say the same word, which is dia. Again, dia. Okay, and then how do you say it or that? It is itu. Again, itu. So those are the most basic grammar that you will learn today, and those are the subject pronouns in Bahasa. So now let's try to quiz yourself. So try not to look to the video if you are watching this on YouTube, or just simply test yourself. Okay, I will say the English subject pronouns and try to answer the question using the Bahasa version. Number one, how do you say I? 1, 2, 3. Saya. How do you say they? Mereka. How do you say she or he? 1, 2, 3. It's dia. Good. So try to repeat that over and over again until you master the subject pronouns in Bahasa. Okay? So yeah, after we have now learned about some grammar, now it's time for us to learn a little bit about vocabulary. So now let's learn about vocabulary or kosakata in Bahasa Indonesia. You do not need to memorize kosakata for now because it is a bit advanced. But for now, we will learn 4 basic verbs that you will use every day in your Bahasa, exercise. So how do you say eat? Eat is makan. Makan. How do you say go? Go is pergi. So as you can see here, we pronounce the R quite clearly. So it is kind of like Spanish. If you guys speak Spanish out there, I think you will notice that Indonesian pronounce the R quite similar to the Spanish language. To the Spanish. So it's pergi. Again, pergi. And how do you say drink in Bahasa? It's minum. Minum. And how do you say buy? Buy is membeli. Okay, so again, try to repeat it over and over again until you master it and you can pronounce it comfortably. Now, before we move on, let's learn 2 useful expressions. I think learning expression is very important in your language learning, whatever language you are learning, because useful expression is something that you